my creative friends, and welcome back to Zen and Creativity YouTube channel, your daily source of artistic inspiration during the Inktober Tangles 2023. I'm Yehudit Steinberg, your Certified Zentangle Teacher, and it's an absolute delight to be here with you once again. If you're enjoying our videos, please consider liking, subscribing, and ringing that bell of notification so you never miss a moment of creative exploration. We're dedicated to making the Zentangle method accessible to everyone, whether you're a beginner or an experienced tangler. No question is too small, so feel free to ask us in the comments. And better yet, don't forget to join our lively Sunday virtual art lab. It's a perfect place to connect with like-minded artists from around the world and get your questions answered. You can get all that information in the description of this video. And for your convenience, I have now added chapters in the video descriptions so you can easily jump to the step out or follow the pattern drawing step by step. Check the video description for quick navigation. Join us live this Sunday on Zoom when we draw the pattern for day 29. Try XYZ together. Register on Eventbrite. Link is in the description for the Sunday Art Lab meetups. We've had a growing group from all over the globe. I want to take this opportunity to thank all the new subscribers, likes, and comments on this channel during this Inktober Tangle Challenge. Also want to thank all the tanglers who signed up for the Sunday Art Lab. We had a blast today drawing the tangle Sindeo, and we had a lot of questions that were answered. We delve into different ways to create this pattern and combined it with other recent Inktober Tangles 2023, and it was a real blast. But before we get started and dive into today's tangle, let's take a moment to revisit the beautiful patterns we explored in the past few days. On day 20, we learned the blossom and leaf tangle Kalua. It's a fun beginner tangle, and we learned it both as a leaf and a blossom. And on day 21, Enoch, a beautiful beginner blossom tangle inspired by winter. On day 22, we learned the tangle Sindeo, a design inspired by a wood-carved chair at the Singapore Asian Civilizations Museum. We also had a blast on Zoom drawing this pattern together and seeing all the creativity that was happening in our art lab. All the links to previous Inktober Tangles are listed in the description of this video day by day. Now let's get started with introducing today's tangle, Roos, deconstructed by Oswaldo Burbano, CZT, in memory of his father, Roosevelt. His father was a military man, and discipline and order was part of his teachings, and hard work and family importance. This is a beautiful, precise tangle, and I'm putting it in the category of texture and a focus tangle. I've added a couple extra steps to make it a bit easier to create this pattern precisely. Follow me along step by step as we construct this texture tangle. Now here we are on the desktop once again, and we start our lesson every day with viewing the supplies that we'll be doing, especially if this is your first time joining us. This is what we call a step out, and it's for the Tangle Today Roos. I have a beginner's guide when you join our art lab, and in the beginner's guide, you will get a template that will have you be able to create these step outs yourself. And I highly recommend creating the step out. I'll explain a little bit later in the video, but let's get to the supplies. So I have a graphite pencil. I prefer to use this mechanical pencil, but any number 2 pencil works. I use a micron 01, which is a very fine point, and I use a micron 08 when I want a broader point or when I'm inking. I have my shading pencil, graphite, and a blending stump. You could use a Q-tip if you don't have blending stumps. And I like to embellish with gold. Here's the bijou tile. I'm going to work on a 2-inch bijou tile, and I'm going to create this pattern Roos. As one of the students today in the art lab said, she really enjoyed drawing on these 2-inch tiles because you can have a lot of satisfaction in a very short period of time. So if you decide on having a 15-minute Zentangle practice daily, 2-inch tiles are great because 15 minutes, it's better to have a short time to have your practice than not at all. So you might want to consider that for your future practice. And I have templates, 2-inch templates in the beginner's guide when you sign up. Now is the time to take the screenshot of Roos. And I just want to remind you that if you're a beginner and you just joined in to Zentangle practice during Inktober, some of these tangles have a little more difficulty than others and would be more in a classification of an intermediate and a few advanced. So don't get frustrated. In November, I'll have a beginner series, and all the tangles we learned there are designed for beginners. Day 23 Tangle Roos by Oswaldo Burbano, CZT. So I'm going to start with the 4 steps that the 4 dots. I'm going to start with 4 dots in a corner. And then I'm going to create a border. And this is a perfect tangle to have a border. And I'm using my graphite pencil for this border. And we're going to draw a few guidelines. And I'm going to check and see how well you can see this. I need to get a little closer. Well, we're going to do step 1. And we're going to make 3 rows. Well, I'm working on a 2-inch, so I'm going to be working with 3 rows. If you have larger paper, then you may have 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever you choose. But before I start drawing my zigzag lines, what I noticed in the pattern is that it's pretty precise, and that these peaks and valleys are in a specific place. And so I decided to add the grid before I put my zigzag. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to do it in graphite. I'm going to start it. Well, I'm going to eyeball it because it's not going to make that much difference, but that's pretty even. I'm going to come in closer so you can see, and And we'll just focus on this. Now I'm going to turn my tile, and I'm going to add, I'm going to divide it again 3 ways, so that I now basically have a grid. And then just to make sure that we're working on step 1, but I'm going to come here and I'm going to give a little dot, and I'm going to give a little dot here. And then I'm going to create a zigzag pattern. And this is approximately in the middle, and this is 3/4 of the way up. So you have to leave some room at the top for these. So you have to, here's the peak here, but you need to leave some room at the top because there's going to be a line that goes on the top of it. Then we'll come down about halfway. And that's what we want. We want to line up the valleys and line up the peaks. Here we are. Now I'm just going to ink these in. And I decided to go back to the 01. It's been trusty. I'm going to do all one side because I don't have to turn it. And then I'll turn it. And I'll do the other side, just moving this a little closer so my hand doesn't stretch, and I can get the best line quality. All right, so that's step 1. Next, we're going to work on step 2, and step 2, we're going to put a little peak on the top, and it goes through. You want to line it up on the center. So we'll do that. I'm going to take it halfway up. Also here on the sides. Well, that was step 2. Now, step 3, we're going to come to the valleys. And the valleys are going to go down. Leave some space at the top. I'm going to put them down here too. Try to keep them in the center of that peak. It's a little teeny bit off, but there you go. And they also will come up here from the valley from the one before. This is a texture pattern, and I think I got them all except for here. Okay, so now we're on to step 4. step 4, we're going to put a little curved line around the peaks, the peak lines only. So take a look at your step out. So here's a peak, and I'm going to give it a cap at the top. I'm going to bring it down one side and down the other. I'm going to move on over to the next peak. I'm going to give it a little cap, bring it down. This is like an aura length there. Let's move down to the next peak. I'm going to give it a little cap and an aura. A cap and an aura here. Now on the sides here, I'm going to give it a little cap and come down this side. And I'm going to come down that side. This is a peak. I'm going to give it. This is a peak. Give it a cap. So now we move to step 5, where we're going to connect. We're going to connect this to this. And we're going to go around and up. Around the bottom of that, of this valley line. That's step 5. So we have one more step, 6, and we're going to add these little bumps on the side of these auras that we just made. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to color them. With a pen that still has some ink. We'll see if it's too big. This is my number 12. It's actually a little large, but seems that the 8 and 5 they last a long time, but I've been doing drawing and videos every day for Inktober for 2 months. Oh, and if you're liking these videos, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps to grow the channel and allow me to create more videos for you. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to come in and I want to add a little ball on the top of each of these peaks. And then I'm going to take a ball pen. Well, I'm also going to add them to the lines in the valley. Now, if they're too long like these, I just make my balls. I just come up on the line and make the ball, and it fits just nice. This is what we're going for. I'm going to come in with my gold pen, and I'm going to give a little gold to each one of these balls on top. You want the black to stand out, to make the black a little bit bigger. I might do that next time, but I didn't do it this time. All right, so then what's left is shading. Also, I use the gel, and it's a little bit wet. Takes a little longer to dry, so be careful when you do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come around this entire pattern on the inside of my border, and I'm going to give it a line of graphite all the way around. Now, this is also the time I like to suggest that you go look at what other videos for Inktober Tangles, what they did on their for their 23, how they drew roos, and you may get some other ideas of how you might want to embellish, or better yet, you can put it on the mandala. We have that mandala template, and a number of the gals are filling it in day by day, and they have a beautiful piece of artwork with all the different tangles that we're learning, and it's frameable, and they're going to frame it and put it on their wall as a memory of being part of this for 2023. Now, it can get a little puffy. I don't want a whole lot of line there, so I like to lightly just move a little bit of that graphite to make it gradual towards the center. However, this center, you do not want to put any graphite there. You want that to be your light source. The other thing you can do is come around the edge and ink it. And you can see you can have a beautiful 2-inch tile from this pattern Roos. Another thing you can do is just come and give it a little finishing aura around the whole border. Okay. Well, I had left these here, so it seems like when you have something happening like that, you want to feature it. So what could I do? Well, I'm thinking that I might just give a little tassel on the bottom. That's one way to feature it. And then to give it a little bit of glam, I can give it a little bit of... And if I wanted to match it, I could do it on the top, but I kind of like that. So that concludes learning the pattern Roos, day 23. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in on this video, and I answer all the comments. If you're enjoying our tutorials and haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It helps us reach more creative folks like yourself. And don't forget about our Sunday virtual art lab. This Sunday, we are drawing the tangle for day 29, try XYZ together. We can ask your questions, you can ask your questions and get them answered on this live Zoom as well. Bring your supplies to the virtual meeting. And if you haven't signed up yet, it's over on Eventbrite. The link is in the description here. It's a vibrant community where we learn, share, and grow together. Check the description for all the details. And don't forget, I added chapters in the video description so you can easily jump to the step out and follow the pattern drawing step by step. Check the video description for quick navigation. As we look ahead, mark your calendars for our upcoming beginner series in November. Starting in November, our Sunday Art Lab on Zoom starts its Beginner Sunday. Easy pattern demonstrations you can draw with me. Registration opens this week. It's the perfect opportunity to deepen your Zentangle practice. Plus, for those of you that would like to show a little special support, you can buy us a cup of virtual coffee. Visit our Ko-fi.com tip jar. Your support keeps this creative space going. Well, that's it for today's Tangle Exploration. Remember, there's no behind, just a world of creativity ahead. Stay inspired, and we will see you on day 24, learning Flutch. It's a fun to learn, focused tangle. Happy tangling.